So the skill is called pacing and leading. And I want you to know that it works at every level and at every age. It works with a toddler, it works with a 6-year-old, it works with a tween, it works with a teen, and it even works with adults. So the pacing aspect of this is, imagine if you would a river and there's a flow to the river. The river's flowing a certain way. Pacing is kind of jumping in that river with the person and flowing with them for a little bit before you decide to redirect them. Okay? So before you decide to redirect, you want to jump in, you want to build a little rapport, let them know that you're with them, give them a feeling of togetherness and a feeling of connection. Once that occurs, it becomes about 1,000 times more easier to then slightly, gently, or easily lead them in the direction you want them to go. So how does this work, Steve, when it comes to parenting? Well, I'll tell you a story about a time when I went out for dinner. We were with some friends of ours. My daughter Bella was, she was under 1. She wasn't walking yet. So she was a baby, and she was sitting in the chair, and she had a big metal spoon. We're at a Mexican restaurant. And sure enough, she starts banging away. Bam, bam, bam. And I don't know if you've ever had this experience, but that spoon sounded a lot louder than you would think a metal spoon on wood would sound. And all of a sudden I noticed people at our table started to look at me like, hey, why aren't you doing something about this? And so I just took some deep breaths to try to be okay with it. But the bam, bam, bam kept going. And then I started to notice maybe some of the people at the tables around us were wondering, hey, when is this father going to do something about this? Now, some of you might be thinking, what's the problem? Grab the spoon out of their hand. Or what's the problem? Just tell them, hey, knock it off. And what I would ask you is, 10 years from now, 12 years from now, when you have a teenager, how do you think that strategy is going to work on your 16-year-old daughter when she's dating someone that you don't like? And our response as a parent is, hey, knock it off. Or we try to just take and remove that person out of the picture of their life. And so what I did was I grabbed the spoon and I started to bang on the table with Bella. So now she's banging here, I'm banging here. And after about 3 or 4 seconds, it didn't take long, I noticed that our rhythm was exactly the same. Now, once our rhythm was exactly the same, I realized, wow, I'm really flowing with her. And now it's time to gently redirect her. So we're banging. So the first thing I did as a test was I started banging on mine a little faster. And then sure enough, she started to match me. So now we're really together. So the next thing I did was I took the spoon and I just put it on my nose. And I looked at her. And sure enough, she took her spoon and put it on her nose. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is really working. So I took the spoon and I put it on my cheek. And she took her spoon and she put it on her cheek. And then I handed my spoon out to her. And she handed her spoon out to me. And we exchanged spoons. And then I did this swirly thing with the spoon, like it was a magic wand. And she started to do the same swirly thing with the spoon, like it was a magic wand. And then I put my spoon down on the table. And then she put her spoon down on the table. The whole thing took about, 45 seconds or a minute. It was a lot of fun. I got to experience some quality time with my daughter and got to pace and lead her in a way that was gentle and loving and fun.